How am I using artificial intelligence in my business? Literally, it is transforming my business overnight. I'm using it in every aspect of our business. I'm embracing it. I'm certainly aware of some risks and issues around it, but I'm carefully moving forward and using the tools every day. Certainly, myself personally, I've been on a huge learning curve where this is concerned. I think back to my first couple of prompts and the first outputs that I received and used. It's a bit embarrassing, but obviously over time, I've really learnt how to use the tool and get an effective result. I'm learning that the better the quality, what you put into the tools, particularly ChatGPT, the better the quality of the brief, the better the quality of the instructions, the better the initial draft blog article, etc., the better the output is going to be. If you completely outsource every little element of a process, you may find that it comes up, with some shortfalls. So I'm testing it every day. I'm learning how to use it. So I certainly use it for a lot of email correspondence. I find that if I have to write a difficult email, I'm using the chat because it seems to take all the emotion out of the email for me. It makes it more professional. It makes it more, just more business-like. And, we all have our own little ways of writing emails, but I'm finding that that is a really, really helpful tool for me to keep emails succinct, powerful, and very professional in their communication style. And the tool is learning over time how I like to communicate. And so the memory is building and building. So I don't have to give as detailed a prompt now to get a very good result. I use the tool to do, thought leadership pieces. I think it's a huge mistake just to give the chats of the world very, very limited briefing. I actually write a first draft of a blog article. Now, it might not be particularly long. It might only be 2 paragraphs of text, but that's my thought leadership. And then I get the chat to enhance and improve and expand. And again, I'm giving it a very good briefing on what I'd like it to do. And I might incorporate a news article, bring this news article into the article, make the article unique. A really good tip is when you're briefing the tool, particularly if you want to write thought leadership articles, make sure you use the terminology that you want the article to be authentic, original, not plagiarized, basically. So very important, because otherwise the chat can turn into, what everyone else is saying, and you want your own thought leadership to shine. But obviously we have a paradigm now where we want to share more thought leadership on platforms like LinkedIn and Facebook to, garner interest and support for our services, our employment, our board candidacy, for example. So there's a lot of ways that you can really improve and fast track good thought leadership. I'm using it also in the business, and I'm using it to enhance every aspect of recruitment processes. And if you're a recruitment business owner and you haven't embraced AI, you're certainly on the back foot, because we use it right across the board and it has completely transformed the way we run the business. I would estimate that it's reducing 2-3 headcount at the moment, in certain divisions. And, that's a harsh thing to say because, I want to see more people employed, but this is the reality in businesses. You're going to see a real contraction in the headcount required if you're going to embrace this across your business processes. So there's no doubt in the long term there's going to be potentially some job losses if executives aren't prepared to pivot into new areas and work hand in hand with the artificial intelligence. There's no doubt that I am on a journey. I know nowhere near enough, and I'm aware that I have gaps here, and so I'm going to have to allocate time to get educated myself, to learn more about different tools, to embrace different technology, bring it into the practice. And I'm finding some of my suppliers, I can see they're using AI, but they're not using it to the level of sophistication that I now require. So an example, I have a gentleman who helps me with some of our blogs on social media. That's not uncommon in this space. but the blogs read like they're artificial intelligence blogs. They're all the same. There's no authenticity about the blog. It's the same kind of terminology time and time again. And so I gave him my instructions on how I'd now like him to brief the AI tools. No embarrassment. I'm happy he's using AI tools. It's making him more efficient, but he needs to use those tools correctly to give me the output that I now require. So keep this in mind. If you're outsourcing elements of your practice, you now need to consider briefing those suppliers much more carefully on how you want them to use AI if they're going to use AI in the delivery of that service. We know particularly for resume writing, for example, we have to be very careful when AI is being used. It can improve text, there's no doubt about it, but it all comes down to the quality of the briefing. So just a fine line to balance here. So there's definitely some opportunities, but there's also some warnings coming through here. So you have to really be quite across it. You have to know the tools yourself. It's really hard to ask someone else to use a tool that you don't understand. So, I'm on a journey, and I hope you are too, learning as much as you can about these tools and how they can improve your practices. But I'm using it in my business. I can see a huge opportunity going forward, how I'm going to transform. And my mission now is to learn as much as I can, embrace it as much as I can, so that I'm going to have an effective result in the long term.